You may never have thought that you'd be baking your own sourdough bread, but here you are, and here we go. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make sourdough sandwich bread. Many feel overwhelmed or confused on how to do this, but by the end of this video, you will see that it's actually a lot simpler than you think, and you'll be able to approach it with confidence and excitement. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you're new around here, my name is Marissa. I am a pharmacist and holistic health coach, and I help you make healthy living simple and fun. A big reason to make your own bread and baked goods at home is because you are going to end up with a much more nourishing food. The breads and the other baked goods that you're going to find at the grocery store are lacking in many nutrients that are naturally present within wheat berries, and they also contain preservatives, excess gluten, added refined sugar, vegetable seed oils, and if they aren't organic, then they are likely to be genetically modified and grown with harmful pesticides like glyphosate. I have made a few videos explaining the health benefits of sourdough, how to make a sourdough starter, and why milling your own flour is much more nourishing. I will link those videos in the description box so that you can go ahead and watch those if you want to learn more about the health benefits of freshly milled flour and how to make a sourdough starter. And so, if you are ready to learn how to make fresh sourdough bread, then just keep watching. Okay, so this bread takes 2 days to make, so pick out which 2 days in your week that will work best for your schedule. For me, I either do this on Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. We will start by feeding the starter. I always feed it the amount of flour that I need for my starter for a recipe. So for this bread recipe, we need a half a cup of active bubbly starter. So we will feed the starter a half a cup of flour and enough filtered water to get a thick pancake batter consistency. You want to stir it really well to make sure that you're getting a lot of air incorporated into it. I used to buy filtered water jugs, but now I have switched over to using a water pitcher that filters my tap water. I have fed my starter all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, and freshly milled flour. They all work, but if you are brand new to sourdough and bread baking, then you'll want to feed your starter all-purpose flour because it's going to give you a good rise, it's more predictable, and you're going to have a nice successful attempt. But little tip here, make sure to buy organic, unbleached, all-purpose flour. Unbleached is very important because the bleach can kill your starter, so we don't want that. And the organic is very important so that the wheat was not grown with harmful pesticides like glyphosate. Then go ahead and cover your starter with a breathable cloth like you see the one I have here, or a coffee filter and rubber band, and leave it out in a warm spot in your kitchen for about 4 to 12 hours. This step is temperature dependent. Starters grow really well when your home is in the upper 70s. So when it's really cold outside, like right now in the middle of winter, when I'm filming this video, it may take longer to grow, and that's totally normal. Like I just said, I am filming this in December, and I fed my starter at 9:30 in the morning, and then I didn't use my starter or wasn't ready until 7:30 at night. But in the summer, my starter is ready in like 2 to 4 hours. So essentially, once it doubles in size and has lots of bubbles all throughout, then it's ready to use. The more that you do this, the easier it will be to be intuitive with this process and to kind of predict it, all throughout the year. And then once the starter is ready to use, we can prepare our bread dough. So for this recipe that we are making today, we need 4 cups of flour. I have found that a really nice balance when you're just getting started with this is to use half organic, unbleached all-purpose flour and then half freshly milled flour using hard white wheat berries. Over time, as you get more comfortable with the process, you can gradually increase how much freshly milled flour you're using and then decrease how much all-purpose flour you're using. So for today, we're using 2 cups of each because we need 4 cups total. So using the all-purpose flour will ensure that you get a really nice rise on the dough, and the freshly milled flour will provide lots of vitamins, minerals, fiber, fatty acids, and protein to the bread. When you watch my video explaining the health benefits of freshly milled flour, you will see that conventional milling methods remove 2 out of 3 parts of the wheat berry, which is the bran and the germ. And these are the most nutritious parts of the wheat berry. I have made this recipe with 100% freshly milled flour, feeding the starter freshly milled flour, and then only using freshly milled flour for the actual bread dough recipe or component of the recipe. And it works out beautifully. It's delicious. It's very nutritious. But you just don't get quite as much of a rise with the dough. And when you're just getting started, sometimes you really like to see that rise. So that's why I said to just kind of do half and half, get started that way, and then over time you can gradually increase how much freshly milled flour you use. Milling flour is very easy and it takes less than a minute to make. Then we are going to add all of the ingredients into the Bosch mixer. This is a stand mixer that can knead, mix, and whip. You can also knead bread dough by hand or use a KitchenAid mixer with a dough hook if you already have one. I have used all three of these methods, but my personal favorite is the Bosch mixer. In my opinion, it produced a much better bread dough and it doesn't heat up or shake as much as the KitchenAid mixer does. And you're also able to make multiple bread doughs at once, which is great for meal prepping. With the KitchenAid mixer, I was only ever able to make one loaf at a time, and that meant that I was making bread like maybe 1 or 2 times a week. But now with this mixer, I can do that all at once and it saves me a lot of time. So we are going to add in 1/4 cup of avocado oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1½ teaspoons of sea salt, 1 1/4 cups of filtered water, 2 cups of organic unbleached all-purpose flour, 2 cups freshly milled flour, and 1/2 cup of active bubbly sourdough starter. Set the mixer to speed 1 and let it mix for 1 minute. Once the dough has formed, you're going to shut off the mixer and let the dough rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. I have found that freshly milled flour absorbs liquids more slowly than store-bought flour, and it's a lot easier to work with after you give it some time to absorb the water and the oil. After that, you can turn the mixer back on to speed 1 and set a timer for 10 minutes. The mixer is going to knead the bread dough for us. If you don't have a stand mixer like me when I first got started with this whole process, then that's totally okay. You can definitely do this by hand. I highly recommend grabbing a dough whisk, and you can use this to mix all of the ingredients together until you form the bread dough, and then just let it sit in the bowl for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you can transfer it out onto your countertop or your cutting board, flour it, lightly flour that, and then you can go ahead and knead it by hand. I have another video here on my channel where I was showing you guys how to make sourdough bread as well, but in that video I was just using all-purpose flour, so I wanted to show you guys this one with more nutrition in your bread. But in that video, I showed you guys how to knead it by hand. So I will link that down below in the description box so you can see the process if that's something that you are doing. After the timer goes off, grab a glass bowl and lightly grease it with some avocado oil. Then pull out the bread dough and set it into the bowl. You're going to cover the bowl with either cling wrap, plastic wrap, or even a damp towel and let this ferment overnight. Then in the morning, the dough will rise and you will see lots of bubbles on the bottom of the bowl, maybe some on the top as well. And then you're going to lightly flour your cutting board or your work surface and transfer the dough out of the bowl. You can use a dough scraper to assist with this. You can also just use your hands. I highly recommend getting a dough scraper if you don't already have one. They are very, very helpful. Then gently spread the dough into a rectangle. You can use a rolling pin for this process if you'd like. And if you are using 100% freshly milled flour, that might actually be a lot easier. But I find that when you're doing like half with the all-purpose flour, it's very easy to just work with your hands. But don't get too fussy with this. It does not need to look perfect or be perfect because we are going to roll it up. So when you are rolling it up, we're going to start with the smaller side and you're gonna roll it towards you or away from you, just whichever way you decide, just keep going with that direction. Use the palm of your hand to press down on the seam and tuck in the sides. Then roll it towards you again or away from you, whichever direction you're going. And then press your hand down on the seam and tuck in the sides. And then just continue this same process until you form a log shape. I like to pinch the bottom seam together and then put the dough seam side down in a grease baking loaf pan. I use this avocado oil spray to easily grease it. You do not want to fight with trying to get this thing out of the baking pan, so go ahead and grease it well. Then cover it with the plastic wrap again. This is the same one that I had used while the dough was fermenting overnight, so when you take that off, to shape the dough, don't throw it away. We're going to use it again. Allow it to rise again for another 2 to 4 hours. This step is called proofing, and just like with the sourdough starter, it is pretty temperature dependent, so that's why there is a time range right there. Once this has doubled in size, it is ready to bake. So you're going to remove the plastic wrap and preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oven is preheating, brush extra virgin olive oil right on top. You can also scramble up an egg and brush on an egg wash, but I like the oil option more, just personal preference. You can try it both ways and see which one you like best. And then bake the bread for 45 minutes. It will look golden brown on the top and on each side once it's done. And when you tap on the loaf, it will be nice and firm and it shouldn't spring back. Allow this to sit in the pan until it cools completely, or you could take it out and let it rest and cool off on a wire rack. Once the bread has completely cooled, you can go ahead and slice it. Now you can go ahead and eat it right then and there, or if you want to eat it all throughout the week, I highly recommend that you store this in the freezer in a freezer safe bag. It's going to keep it nice and fresh, and each time you take out a piece, it's going to be as if you just baked it. Whenever you take it out of the freezer, you can just leave it on your cutting board and let it, come to room temperature, or you could toast it or put it in the microwave or in the frying pan. There's lots of different ways to revitalize it. But doing this ensures that the bread stays fresh and delicious all week long. So that's how you make sourdough sandwich bread. The full recipe is listed down below. I originally got it from my favorite sourdough recipe blog, but I did make a little bit of a change here and there. Not a lot, but just a couple little tweaks. And I mentioned those throughout the video, and you'll also see them listed down below as well. But I did link the original recipe for you guys. I hope that you feel more confident and excited about getting into your kitchen and making homemade sourdough bread. If you want to get a Nutrimil grain mill and the Bosch mixer, then you can click my affiliate link in the description box and use code SIMPLY20 to save $20 on your order. And I also linked my water pitcher from Epic Water Filters as well, and you can use my affiliate code SIMPLY15 to save 15% off your order. If you guys have any questions, then please comment them down below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love for you to join my YouTube community. I post videos every single week on making healthy living simple and fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Stay well, my friends. Bye.